I wanted to inform you about what we do for our writing time. So, we have different units throughout the year that we will transition through each time that we complete a new writing. So, the first two units we've already finished, Unit 1 and Unit 2, and we were just discovering the writing process. So, the students got to write about things that they were interested in or memories that they've had or just make up a story of their choice. So they weren't required to write any specific thing for this time, but they were understanding what goes into the writing process. So they create a title. Once we write that first draft, we write a second one. Then we go and correct spelling, we correct punctuation and capitalization, and then we create it into a book. We make a front cover and then we make our best handwriting, and it becomes a book that goes into our classroom library. This process will be repeated throughout each of the units that we go through throughout the year. So we're now transitioning into the personal narrative unit for the year, which means the students get to write about things that have happened to them, memories that they have, or just something that they love about themselves and what they've done. This is about a 4-week unit, and then we'll transition into fiction. This means the students are making up their own stories. A lot of the times, this is where we see our fairy tales, so the once upon a time stories, and where the students have the most fun because they just get to make up anything that they want. This is about a 6-week lesson, and then we move on to our expository writing. Our expository writing is where it's our nonfiction section. So the students are researching about animals, and then they get to present it as maybe a PowerPoint or maybe it's a book, but it's informing others about an animal that of their choice. Then we'll transition into functional writing, and these are how-to books. So how do you draw a dolphin? How do you bake a cake? And so it's showing how they inform others on how to complete a task of their choice. And so they have to research how to do that. You can't skip any steps because then you're not telling the reader on what they have to do. So that one's a really fun one because you get to see each step that the student takes to complete that task. And that one's only about a 3-week lesson. And then we move on to opinion writing, which is persuasive writing. And so the students get to choose and try to persuade the reader, so that the author's purpose is to convince based on what their belief is or what they're trying to tell the readers to do. And then our last unit of the year will be poetry. And so each of the students will be able to create and then publish, which means make look awesome, and then to the classroom library a poem. I'm super excited to see everything that the students create this year. Writing is one of my favorite times to see all the amazing things that the students create because they get to be as creative or simple as they like with writing.